You need to understand that as a woman, you possess the power to get absolutely anything and everything that you want under this sun. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. It's the way you say the things you say. Your energy reads far more than words ever will. Now, let me give you a little example. Back when Kris Jenner was starting out in the 90s, this man was talking about when he first met her, she had this power, this energy to her, but she was sweet and sassy. She was focused but calm. She knew exactly what she wanted and she knew exactly how to get it. Kris Jenner had the nickname the Velvet Hammer. Think about that. She took her family from zero to billionaires. Only a woman that knows her way with words and knows her way with people did that. When you hear her in interviews, she has this way, the way she talks to people, her energy, her aura, her charisma. That is what got her from 0 to 100. That is what took her family to becoming one of the most powerful families ever in history. Think about it. You have the power to do exactly the same.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Here we have yet another attempt to sell the fantasy that all women can get whatever they want just with their energy. But the reality is different. Kris Jenner didn't lead her family to success with aura and charisma. She did it through a sex scandal and by exploiting her daughter's image. This narrative is dangerous because it sells the idea that real effort isn't necessary, just manipulation and knowing how to talk. But if that were true, every woman repeating this mantra would be a millionaire. The truth is, very few actually make it. And those who do usually use the same strategies they later criticize in men. They want power without responsibility, success without sacrifice, and respect without merit. But the real world doesn't work that way.
You can tell if a woman is truly in her feminine energy based on the way that she is dressed. Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm a feminine energy and inner work coach. And a lot of the women that I work with, their style begins to change over time. They start dressing in a way that's more classy. It's because of this one thing. The more you are in your feminine energy, the more you view your body as being sacred, meaning you do not dress in a way that's super revealing or provocative. For these two reasons. Number one, your energy is so precious to you that you do not give it away easily. When other people look and see these parts of you, they are absorbing your energy. You do not reveal that for everyone to see. And number two, you no longer seek validation outside of yourself. You're so content and fulfilled, you get that validation from within. When you're in your feminine energy, you dress in a way that protects your energy and truly represents your soul, represents who you are as a woman with your unique style.
I completely agree with her. A woman should take care of herself and not give herself to just any Chad. She says that when a woman truly values her feminine energy, she stops dressing provocatively because she no longer seeks external validation. Exactly. So why do so many claim they dress that way for themselves? The truth is, many use provocative clothing as a magnet for attention, but then complain that men only see them as objects. If they really protected their energy as they say, they would be more selective about who gets access to them instead of seeking validation and then crying when Chad has his fun and leaves. So yes, they should dress more elegantly, value themselves, and not give their energy away to just anyone. On that, we agree.
Let's talk about how to become feminine. To start unlocking your feminine energy, you need to get out of a survival mindset. For a lot of my girlies who are working, a lot of you guys have mostly masculine energy. Masculine energy is all about controlling the situation and working really hard. Feminine energy is all about trusting and receiving. Basically, to truly be in your feminine energy, you need to feel taken care of and secure. No matter what situation you are in life, a few ways to get into your feminine energy and start feeling secure is to, number one, make sure you always rest. Get good sleep and nourish your body. Number two is self-care. You need to feel like you are being pampered and spoiled. Do hair treatments at home. Get massages from your partner. Take baths, light candles, lounge around your house all day drinking tea. Get into the habit of having a soft life. Another hack is when you pay your bills or buy anything, pretend that somebody else is doing it for you. And just imagine that you are just a spoiled princess who gets taken care of all the time. Now practice being taken care of and receiving. When you go out or when you're with people, start asking people to do things for you. Ask them if they can pass you things. Ask them if they can get you a drink. If you're walking with a group of people, stand by the door and wait for them to open the door. When you're out with men, just sit there and allow them to offer you things and stare them in the eye and sit pretty until they do. Or again, practice asking and allowing them to give. Present problems to the people that you're with, and if they have masculine energy, they will solve it. You can tell if a woman has masculine energy if you're with a friend and you present a problem and she goes right away to solve it. You are seriously not meant to lift a finger. You're here for your energy, your calmness, your emotional intelligence, and your nurturing nature. There's so much more to talk about on this topic, so comment for a part 2.
When women talk about masculinity and femininity, it all comes down to one thing: receiving. You're masculine only if you give. She's feminine only if she receives. Look at the list. Feminine energy is being taken care of, being pampered, relaxing, getting massages, not lifting a finger, and expecting men to handle everything. Basically, living like a princess with no responsibilities. But of course, if a man said that his masculine energy means women should take care of him, cook for him, and make his life easier, he'd be crucified on social media. This narrative is just the modern version of "give me everything, and I'll reward you with my presence." There's not a single mention of what she brings to the table, just instructions on how to train men to serve her. And the best part? They disguise it as energy and feminine nature, when, in reality, it's just pure convenience.
As a woman who likes to stay in her feminine energy because it's really powerful, one of the things that I'm not willing to do is argue with anyone. If I tell you something, if I ask you something, if I express something to you and there's resistance, and I've given you time, I've been patient, I've allowed you your time and your space, and you are still not giving me what I asked you for, I am not going to beg you. I'm not going to argue with you. I am going to release you, because holding on to that friction is taking me out of alignment. As a woman who prioritizes her femininity, I have to know that when something isn't good for me, when I'm banging on the door and someone's not letting me in, I have to go. There's no point in me giving this my energy. So we have to know when we're creating too much force, that's our job. So you have to prioritize your femininity by saying, you know what? There hasn't been flow.
Stop it. Get some help.
Here we have another one: confusing feminine energy with doing the bare minimum and expecting the man to do everything. Basically, if you don't give her what she wants without resistance, she simply lets you go. But if a man did the same and said, "If a woman doesn't give me what I ask for, I leave," he'd be labeled a narcissist. What she's really saying is, if you don't please me, I'll go find someone who will. It's not about energy, it's about convenience. But remember, brothers, for a woman to be treated like a princess, she first has to qualify for the king. Drizzle, drizzle.
If no one ever taught you how to make men and people worship you like you are a literal goddess, when I say this literally works, this girl texted me saying that a man handed her $100 bill simply just for existing. And when I did this, I saw results instantly. As soon as I walked into Starbucks, everyone looked at me and the lady ended up giving me my order for free. And then when I was basically just doing my work, a guy came over and was like, "Sorry, I'm not trying to hit on you. I just want to make friends and your energy is so good," and bought me a Starbucks drink. Never opened my own doors. People are always saying that they're literally obsessed with my energy. Guys are always saying that they want to date me. They want to be exclusive with me right away. What we are using is the Princess Treatment Formula Guide. This will basically walk you through step by step how to instantly activate your feminine energy in the moment, tell you exactly how to act in situations, tell you exactly what to say with scripts to get princess treatment, to get everybody to be obsessed with you. Gives you the exact affirmations to repeat into your head. It is so good. It works literally instantly when you use it, and you can get instant access to it in my profile link. So the first step in activating your feminine energy is obviously looking feminine. An easy way to do that is to wear skirts or dresses all the time. And in the formula, it actually gave me literal examples, Pinterest boards of exactly what to wear to be extremely feminine, classy, because this works best if you just look very classy and you're embracing your natural beauty. The second thing is when you walk into a room, you cannot be putting your energy outward. That will make you demagnetize. So instead of going into a room and being like, oh, I hope people like me. Oh, I hope he really likes me. I hope he gives me princess treatment. I hope he asks me out. You want to walk into a room with all of your energy on you, thinking about how obsessed you are with yourself, thinking about how amazing your life is, thinking about how beautiful you look. You want to envision yourself as literal royalty, because people give princess treatment to people who are special, people who are royal. I kid you not, in the formula, it tells you exactly how to see yourself as somebody who is royalty, somebody who is feminine, classy, elegant, and gives you literally exact affirmations to be thinking in the moment, to always feel like you are feminine royalty, like you are just that freaking girl. The next thing is your self-talk. Whatever you are thinking about yourself in the moment is exactly what people are going to think about you, because your energy speaks, and the way that you think causes you to act differently. Next, the way you act says so much about you. If you want princess treatment and you want people to literally be magnetized by you, they need to see that you are in your feminine energy by the way that you act. So the formula literally says exactly how to act when you go to restaurants, when you go on dates, like in exact situation. This is key because when people look at you, they will assume that you are used to getting princess treatment. You are used to being treated like a feminine goddess. So people will start literally treating you like you've always been spoiled, opening doors for you, paying for you, giving you free things, just doing things for you. And lastly, you want to speak in your feminine energy. You never want to control the situation with what you're saying. Women who are in their feminine energy always talk about what they would like, what would please them, and that basically tells other people what to do. So the formula literally gave me word for word scripts on exactly what to say to get whatever I want, make him buy me flowers, make him open the door for me, always make him pay the bill, and just how to make other people please you 24/7. And if your man is doing something that you don't like, it tells you exactly how to make him start pleasing you again and giving you princess treatment. The best part is you can use this anywhere at any time to instantly activate your feminine energy. And if you grab the princess treatment formula, you can just literally download it to your phone. You get it for life, and then you can use it whenever you go on a date, before you go to work, before you're about to go out in public, and it literally instantly activates your feminine energy, makes you radiate, makes you so magnetic in the moment, no matter what you're doing or who you're with. And you can get instant access to it in the first part of my profile. Love you.
This is pure, unfiltered narcissism. There's no love here, no partnership, no reciprocity, just a manual on how to manipulate men into paying without giving anything in return. The goal is basically to train women to act like royalty without having done a single thing to deserve it. The irony? High-value men see this coming from miles away. They know that a woman who talks about feminine energy and princess treatment isn't looking for love, she's looking for a wallet. And since these men are smart, they play the game better than the women do. They entertain them, enjoy them, let them believe they're winning, and then leave. Because a woman whose only appeal is taking without giving isn't a partner, she's a burden. The result? These same women, in a few years, will be complaining that men don't want to commit, or that all the good men are gone. No, the truth is that good men avoid gold diggers. And high-value men, they simply use them and discard them, because that's all they're good for.
If you match with a guy on a dating app and he does any of these three things before you meet him, red flags, honey, and don't say I didn't tell you. Okay, number one is asking for your Instagram and not your phone number. I understand that sometimes people want to screen you through social media and make sure you're normal, but let's be real. If someone is serious about meeting up with you, they're going to get your phone number and they're going to lock down a date. They're not going to try to add an extra buffer in between you and them, which in this case would be social media. So if they're asking for your Instagram, honestly, red flag. Number two, if they're facilitating a date, but it's a group situation. Listen, I understand some people are into this. I kind of feel like someone who wants to impress you is going to want your undivided attention. And group dynamics where you just roll by are usually very casual, and they set the tone for just that, a casual relationship. And red flag number 3, casual, loose plans made usually the day of or the night before. If someone respects you and values your time, they're going to want to make sure you are penciling them in advance. Okay, it's going to be a formal thing. Follow for more.
Stop it. Get some help.
Everything is a red flag when it's the simp inviting her. But if it's Chad with the apocalypse 666 to 6 feet tall, 6 figures in the bank, and a six-pack abs, the 666 from hell, suddenly, they don't see any red flags. Look at the logic. Asking for Instagram is a red flag, but if an attractive guy asks, it's exciting. Planning a group date means lack of interest, but if it's with the right guy, it's fun and spontaneous. Last-minute plans are disrespectful, but if it's a high-status man, it's mysterious and thrilling. It's not about standards, it's about who meets them. And then they wonder why men stop taking these rules seriously.
2 of the biggest red flags you will ever see in a man. 1, if a guy says, I don't see age. Age is just a number whenever it comes to dating, whenever it comes to dating women. Like, you better see age or you're gonna wind up with criminal charges. You know what I mean? That's weird. You do see age, or will you also, as like a 30-year-old guy, date a 60-year-old woman? As a 70-year-old guy, are you dating other 70-year-old women? Okay, if not, you see age. Notice how they only say this to justify a really extreme, weird age gap. Red flag number 2, pretty similar. Whenever a guy says, she's just mature for her age. No, you never grew up. You're creepy. I remember one time I was doing a musical. I was in a musical and I was 26 and there were like 20-year-olds around and I felt so much more mature than them, so much older. Not one time was I like, this person's mature for their age. Even if in that scenario, someone's mature for their age, you still know it's weird that if you're like a 35-year-old guy with a 20-year-old, again, the maturity, they're fresh out of high school. You're a grown adult pushing 40. Men dating women, young women bordering on being girls that could be their granddaughters, that could be their daughters, that is weird. And these are just ways they try to convince you that it's not weird.
Here's the truth they don't want to accept. Men don't say age is just a number to date 60-year-old grandmothers. They say it because they can and prefer to date younger women. And that hurts them. The problem isn't morality, it's competition. Or maybe men are dating younger women, and you, now past 30, are watching your options shrink. You don't want men your age going after women in their 20s because it leaves you with fewer choices. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. They get outraged. But not when a 30-plus woman rejects a man her age for not being successful enough. It's only a problem when the market stops favoring them.
Oh my word, are you going to know about it if you get into a relationship with an insecure man? They have such fragile egos that they lose all sense of humour. They will pick fights. They are easily offended. You just find yourself in arguments that you are like, how did we get here? They will exaggerate the truth or just tell blatant lies. Anything that's going to increase their sense of status or self because they're uncomfortable with who they are. He will be more interested in himself, how he looks, how he's perceived. He will be more critical and judgmental of others, other men, other women. He'll need much more reassurance and validation than a confident, self-secure man. And when he doesn't get that reassurance or validation from you, he will look elsewhere to get it. He can be a little overbearing and possessive, not in a abusive way, but kind of a way that makes you feel like, oh, like I need space, like I need freedom. They can be jealous much more than the average guy, and needer. Like, he'll just want you there for the sake of having you there. Like, he'll just, to make him feel secure, you bring him a sense of comfort that he can't get by himself. He is likely to have trust issues from past relationships that he has not healed and brings all that baggage into your relationship for you to deal with. I'm not saying these men are bad men. They're not bad men. And we all have insecurities, like we all will go through our own. But heal yourself. Like, it's not up to your partner to heal you. Like, they can't do that. And insecure men in general just tend to not work on themselves or to face problems head on. Like, they prefer to just kind of like distract themselves, to mask it, to suppress it. And that's the only reason why I say just avoid. Unless this man's going to actually work on himself for you, he should really be doing it for himself. But if he's going to work on himself, then I'll wave the amber flag. But in general, it's a red flag for insecure men.
Brothers, what kind of men are these women dating? They're always talking about insecure, narcissistic, lying, controlling guys, but they never stop to ask themselves why they keep attracting the same type over and over again. Here's the truth. They chase men with status and charisma, then complain that those same men are self-centered and crave validation. No one forces them to choose them, yet they keep repeating the same pattern. And then they hit the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. When they no longer get the same attention as before, they start wondering why they can't find a good man. But by then, of course, the good men have already learned to avoid them.
5 red flags in men you should never ignore. Never. There are always red flags in the beginning. Literally always. So I'm going to put you on. Please take notes. First and foremost is if he talks about his ex. Having a little conversation here and there. Maybe you guys are just sharing experiences. Not great, but whatever. Here's where the red flag comes in. If he is talking about his ex in a bad way, saying how awful she was, putting her down, over the top, talking bad about her, why won't he shut up about how awful she was? Is she awful because of something he did to her? The answer is yes. Next one is if he knows too many girls. Also follows so many girls on social media. Biggest red flag is if you go to his comment section and it's just all girls commenting. No, get him out of here. Absolutely not. The next one is he makes plans with you last minute, or he only hits you up at night. Typical F-boy, they really don't want a relationship. They just want a good time. They're not looking for anything long-term. On the other direction. Not responding to any hey you up text. No. It's giving minimal effort. No, he needs to work for you and actually act like a man and not just a boy who just wants to hang out at his house. Not doing that. If you always have to question what you guys are, how he's feeling about you, trust me, when a guy sees what he wants, he will get it. If you find yourself caught up on a guy that does any of these things, honestly, just run the other direction and find another one. Trust me, what one guy won't do, 20 others will. And that's just a fact. Let me know what you think. Bye.
Oh, hell no!
This is a woman who clearly loves dating chads, but now she wants to give lessons on red flags. She complains about guys who badmouth their exes, have tons of women after them, and only want to see her at night. But those are exactly the men she keeps choosing over and over again. Then she drops the typical line, "What one guy won't do, 20 others will." Sure, while she still has options. But when the market stops responding, suddenly, the standards change. The reality is simple. If you keep running into the same type of man, the problem isn't the man. The problem is your choices.
Red flags in men part 2, because you guys clearly agreed with all of my part 1, and I've been through my fair share of red flags, and this is me telling you so that you don't have to learn the hard way yourself. Number 1, starting off strong. When they don't tell you where they're going, they don't tell you who they're going with, they don't tell you where they're going. They just say they're going out with the boys, or they have a busy day and they don't say exactly what it is, or they're very vague with where they're going and what they're doing and who they're doing it with. Regardless, they're hiding something, okay? They're hiding something. And they don't want you to know. Number 2, too much affection all at once. Now, this is the manipulator. This is the person that is giving you way too much, way too soon, and they're just doing that because they're infatuated with you and they don't really care about how far they get with you because they don't really want a big future. So they're just going to put it all out there so that they get you for a short period of time, or even that day, that night, whatever it is, and they're going to put it all on the table so they get you real quick so that they can let you go even quicker. And that could be the ones that drop the L-bomb like the first day or the second day or the third day that they see you out, because they don't really care if you are going to date, and they don't even care that they're going to say it later or if it means anything, because they just want you for the now. Number 3, if they don't answer your text or you at all for 24 hours. Nobody is too busy to not answer you for a whole 24 hours. If they gave a single flying shit about you, they will answer you at least once within the 24 hours. They will think about you and they will have to text you or reach out or even call you if they're in such a busy day. I'm telling you, if they go at least 24 and 48 means, oh my God, block them, okay? But 24 it's the limit. He doesn't. Number 4, now people are going to disagree with me with this, but if they've never gotten broken up with, they've dragged people on and they clearly don't care as much about that other person that they've ever been with or they've ever dated or they've ever had a situation with, that they can always end it first. If you can always end it first, that means that you weren't ever the one that cared so much. So you've never given your all to someone. You've never cared so much about someone. You've gotten into these meaningless relationships that don't mean as much to you as you've led on to the other person. So those are people that don't have much feelings for the people that they're in, or they don't really care to get that invested, or they know how to hold back. Because you know that you will be that victim that they leave in a year or 6 months or a week. And number 5, my favorite, if they are texting anyone from their past, literally anyone, any situationship, any hookup, any past relationship, whatever it is, they are holding on to the past and they are addicted to the past and they are keeping them there just in case, and they are not fully investing themselves into you, and they don't even plan on it, because if they were and they were so infatuated and so happy and so intrigued by you, they would be okay with just you, not everyone else. And last but not least, if he is not a man of his word, he is not reliable, he doesn't follow through with the things he says, he clearly will never. And if he isn't doing it in the beginning and trying to impress you in the honeymoon phase and not following through on even the little things like taking you on a date, chances are he's probably never going to follow through, or very rarely ever going to follow through. So good luck out there.
Everything this woman said comes down to having control over the man. Basically, if he doesn't report his every move, doesn't reply within 24 hours, or doesn't cut all ties with his past, it's a red flag. But of course, if a man asked the same from her, he'd be controlling and toxic. There's no equality here, just rules designed to keep men under constant supervision. The worst part is that they disguise this as standards when, in reality, it's extreme insecurity. Because let's be honest, if a man really wants to cheat or lose interest, he'll do it with or without this ridiculous list. Obsessive control doesn't build relationships. It just turns men into emotional prisoners.
Reasons why I'm scared of marriage. Number 1, what if my husband is frugal? Number 2, what if my husband puts me on a budget? Number 3, what if my husband gets lazy and wants to sleep in separate bedrooms every night? Number 4, what happens if my husband gets sick of me and bored and we no longer are affectionate with each other? Number 5, what if he starts to monitor how many coffees I drink and tells me that I would save X amount of money if I had coffee at home? Number 6, what if he tells me that I already have enough shoes and I don't need any more? Number 7, what if we're out to dinner on a date and he tells me that I don't need dessert tonight? Feel free to follow for part 2.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This is pure gold for understanding how many people see marriage today, not as a union, but as a contract for personal benefits. Look at the list. Everything revolves around, what if my husband doesn't let me do what I want with his money? There's not a single mention of what she's going to contribute or how she'll make the relationship work. Just fear that the husband might have standards or expectations. The most ironic part? If a man made a list like this, saying, what if my wife gains weight? What if she stops cooking? What if she no longer wants to be intimate? He'd be crucified on social media. Here's the trap. They want a man to pay, but they don't want him to have a say in how the money is spent. And then they wonder why fewer and fewer men are interested in getting married.
I'm at the age where everybody is getting married, everybody is getting engaged, people are popping out babies like no tomorrow. And like, maybe I need to start sitting down with these people and like asking some really hard-hitting questions. And I'm so afraid of marriage and having kids. And it's not because I don't think that I have what it takes. I'm so afraid of never being selfish for the rest of my life. And I'm so sad seeing my friends who are moms and then hearing other relatives in my family say things like, you can't do stuff like that, you're a mom now. And it's like, dad is right there and he has not changed his life at all from the moment he conceived this child to the child now being 4 years old. And even being a wife, I feel like there is so much sacrifice that goes into being a wife and maybe not so much into being a husband, especially because so many men are walking into these relationships thinking that now that they have a wife, they have someone who's going to pick up after them, somebody who is going to do all their laundry and cook all the meals. And I have like this fear that I'm going to be like, I'm going to want to stay home. I'm going to want to take care of my household, and I'm going to want to raise my children by myself instead of having to work 40 hours a week. And I'm so scared that if I do that, a man is going to one day be able to look at me and be like, you were able to do that because of me. My career allowed you to have this type of lifestyle. And that chills me to the bone, because as someone who is working right now, yes, I still live at home, but I have lived by myself. And like, do you know how many things I could accomplish in a day if my laundry was always done for me? If I didn't have to think about what was going to be for dinner because I knew it would be on the table waiting for me? Do you know how successful I would be? Do you know how many ideas I would have and how much energy I would have for the things that I'm passionate about? And even just like grocery shopping these days, like I'm doing groceries for like a little 1-2 snack, and every single time it's coming up to over $100. You cannot tell me that marriage is not also an economic proposition and also not something that we have to do almost. If you want to be a homeowner, if you want to have a sustainable life, marriage is a really good looking option. And even if you have the best partner in the world who is a man, you're gonna end up 9 times out of 10 being the default parent anyways. The parent that the child wants whenever they're sick. The child is going to gravitate towards you because that's just a natural, normal ass thing. And I love that I'm alive during this time where we're having conversations about the realities of marriage and the realities of parenthood. And I love that the pressure is so much less than it was 10, 20 years ago, but that it's still present. It's honestly so much to think about. And it's like, is it worth it? Are these things that I really want? Is this something that I really have to do? Or can I live a fun, an exciting life without it?
Here we have a single woman at the wall, worrying about problems she doesn't even have while still living with her parents. Her entire speech revolves around fear and sacrifice. But the most revealing part is when she says she feels like men don't have to change their lives when they have kids. Like, what kind of alternate reality is that? Men literally work longer hours, take on more risks, and shoulder the financial burden so that she has the luxury of staying home. But instead of seeing it as a partnership, she views it as a threat. On top of that, this idea that marriage is just a financial transaction is the result of the extreme individualism that has taken over the minds of many modern women. She wants a husband, but she doesn't want the commitments that come with being a wife. She wants marriage to be optional, but she still wants the financial benefits of one. And then she wonders why she ends up at the wall.
Okay, why is no one talking about that it's really freaking scary to get married? You're just seeing all your friends on Instagram being like, 100 days till I get married to the love of my life. Oh my gosh, everything's rainbow and butterflies. And you're here like, I'm freaking out. What if I'm making a mistake? How do I know if I'm making the right decision? What if like this is all wrong? And you're like doubting everything. And then you feel guilty because you're like, well, Susie's so excited for her wedding. Why can't I be excited for my wedding? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my relationship? There isn't anything wrong with your relationship. You might just be someone who feels really deeply. You might be someone who is a little bit more sensitive, or you might be someone who has had really bad anxiety in the past and has always struggled with life transitions. That was me. And so when these big transitions or life events happen, you might freak out, and that's totally okay. But I know it sucks because you want to feel excited. You want to be like, I'm so excited to get married and my wedding's in 100 days and everything's rainbow and butterflies. And then it's not. And then you get really bummed. And I get that because I was also there. So all in all, I just want to normalize that it is really scary to get married for a lot of people. And just because no one's talking about it doesn't mean that people aren't feeling the same exact way as you. I'm putting it out there. I felt that way. I was freaking terrified. But guess what? It all worked out. And I was able to work through my anxiety because I wasn't actually afraid of getting married. I was afraid of like all of these other things that were just like coming up as a fear of getting married. It was a whole thing. But now I started engaged and anxious because I know that this is a real thing that people need help with. And that's why I'm here to help you. So if you are maybe just like an anxious person and you are all of a sudden doubting everything about relationship, you're overthinking it, you're questioning it. Maybe you're not even engaged yet, maybe you are engaged, but you're like, okay, something is not right here. Even though like it is right, like everything in your relationship's amazing, you're just questioning it. You're in the right place. So first things first, if you are feeling this way,
Brothers, on the wedding day, only the man marries for love, the woman marries for a lifestyle. And here's the proof. Why so many doubts, so much anxiety, so much fear? Because for many, marriage isn't about the relationship. It's about what it represents. It's not about being with the man they love. It's about making sure they're making the best financial and emotional decision for their future. If it were truly about love, there wouldn't be this much fear. But when you know you're signing a contract that determines your standard of living, of course, you feel anxious. Because it's not just, do I love him? It's, will he give me the life I want? While the man is happy to get married because he loves his woman, she's busy running mental calculations to see if he's the best investment.
Did you know that being childless and husbandless is actually one of the most powerful things you can be as a woman? Yeah. And I'll say that again because I know it's going to ruffle some feathers. But the feathers need to be ruffled because for all the young women out there, myself included, who felt or have felt or are feeling like they are behind in life because they do not have a husband, they do not have children, did it ever occur to you, my love, that maybe there are better and bigger things that God is trying to do in your life right now? And maybe he wants you to focus on your relationship with him. That's the man you need to invest into God. Because it's not like I don't ever want a husband and kid. Maybe one day I was always the woman. I'm telling you, my whole life dream and goal centered around a husband and marriage and children. And, you know, God put it on my heart at the beginning of this year that maybe God has bigger and better for me waiting. And I don't need the husband and children to get that. Maybe I can do that all by myself with God's help. Men are great, you know, like if you find one that treats you well and makes life better, by all means, babe. And if you are married and if you do have children, I hope that you are living in your blessing, in the blessing that you have prayed for, because that's all we ever want. But I am just trying to encourage the young woman watching this video that has just dreamt and hoped and prayed as a little girl until she grew up to have this husband and kids. And babe, there is so much more in life to that. I promise you. And if it's meant to be, it's going to be. Okay? So just chill out. But there's a reason why the rich auntie that has no kids is happy, stress-free, and living her best life. Right, because she has no kids.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. Here we have yet another attempt at self-convincing disguised as empowerment. Not having a husband or kids is the most powerful thing you can be as a woman. Really? If that were so true, she wouldn't need to repeat it like a mantra. The reality is, when someone has everything covered, comfort, money, free time, life starts to lose meaning. That rich aunt with no kids she talks about might be able to travel and enjoy luxuries. But tell me, who's going to be there when she's 60 and no one calls her on Christmas? This kind of speech is just emotional anesthesia to justify choices that, deep down, they know don't lead to real happiness. Because she's hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
When I tell people I don't want to have kids or I don't want to be married, and they tell me, oh, no, you're going to change your mind. You're going to meet a guy and you're going to change your mind on those decisions. I always ask them, do you think I'm stupid? And then they'll try to save themselves with some bullshit of, no, it just takes the right one. Da, da, da. But I love to follow up that conversation with, am I stupid? Because you must think I'm stupid to be 28 years old and have been making decisions up until this point in my life that have got me here. But that one really big decision of having a kid or being married, I don't know about that. I don't know myself that much. Or you're telling me that that decision is actually not mine. And that even though I've decided and I've told you I'm not going to be doing these two things, it's actually going to take another man's opinion and decision on my body
whether or not we're going to have kids. Like, you must think I'm weak, I'm stupid. Which one is it? You know, choose one way to diss me. How are you going to choose all of them? I recommend you use this because although that person will never speak to you again, it does give you that chance to go head to head with someone who has like deep rooted misogyny living in them. And honestly, those people need to be shutted up the most.
The level of aggression here is impressive. No one insulted her. No one called her stupid. Yet there she is, ready to fight a shadow. It's like a poor person saying they don't want to be rich when they've never even been close to wealth. Just like it's not the same for a single woman to say she doesn't want kids when she doesn't even have a partner to make that decision with. Talking in theory is easy, but it's a whole different story when reality comes knocking. But here's the key point. People say you'll change your mind because they've seen this story play out over and over again. It's not misogyny. It's simple observation. How many women who once said, "I don't want kids or marriage," end up desperately trying to start a family at 35? Time puts everyone in their place. And when that moment comes, who will she blame? Because the wall doesn't forgive, and neither does reality.
Being cheated on or discovering partner's secret porn use can absolutely cause PTSD, and here are some symptoms to look out for. First and foremost, having intrusive thoughts and constantly having flashbacks of the betrayal. It replays on a loop in your mind. You picture him, what he was doing with her. You picture all the scenarios, and you cannot get these flashbacks out of your head. Secondly, hypervigilance, feeling like you're just constantly on edge and you don't feel safe around people, feeling like you're constantly scanning for threats, whether you're still in the relationship, you're constantly monitoring his behavior, or if you left the relationship, you are avoiding people, places, and things that remind you of your partner because you don't feel safe in those scenarios anymore. Also, self-blame is a huge one. Blaming yourself, thinking that you caused this, thinking that you could have done something to prevent it, when in reality it actually had nothing to do with you. This was just the result of his actions that were unrelated to you. Also, just having negative changes in thoughts and behaviors in general. If you used to be this happy-go-lucky person and now you feel like your innocence was lost and you feel skeptical and you feel like you can't trust others, and it's difficult for you to form new relationships with people because you don't feel like you can trust them, even people who were your long-standing friends and families, you always just feel like this sense of on edge, and especially you don't feel safe around men either. Also, having sleep disturbances, if you're waking up with nightmares, if you can't fall asleep at bed because your mind is constantly racing. I'm not saying you have PTSD, but these are all very common signs of having PTSD post-betrayal trauma. And so it's really important that my number one recommendation for any girl going through this is to prioritize your nervous system regulation, and I have a guide in my bio.
Oh, hell no! Comparing watching pornography to a betrayal that causes PTSD is absurd. No one is saying that porn is good for men. In fact, it's generally not recommended because it can distort reality and affect relationships. But calling it betrayal trauma is just a convenient way to play the victim without context. If a woman reacts this way because her partner watches porn, the problem isn't the man. It's her insecurity and distorted perception of the relationship. It's like saying that watching an action movie is the same as going out and starting a fight. Porn may be a bad habit, but it's not infidelity. And if her reaction is that extreme, maybe she should ask herself why she depends so much on her partner's validation instead of seeking her own emotional stability.
People always get so shocked when I tell them that I would not care if my boyfriend cheated on me. I wouldn't care one bit. And they're like, what do you mean you wouldn't care? I'm not saying I wouldn't dump him, because I would. He'd be gone, he'd be out. I wouldn't break a sweat, I would not care. I do not care if you cheat on me. Because when a man cheats on you, or a lady, or a they, it has everything to do with them and absolutely freaking nothing to do with you. Nothing. You could be doing everything right. If a man don't want to be loyal to you, he is not going to be loyal to you. If a man is not ready to settle down, he is not going to settle down. Period. And then people are like, you wouldn't be sad? Like, you wouldn't be so depressed? No. No, I would not. No, I would not. I'd be sad that they betrayed me, especially like, for example, my current partner. We live together now. So that's like a pretty big deal. It's the first time I've ever lived with a guy. But if we're being hella real right now, I know what I bring to the table. I have a great career. I'm low-key kind of cute. I'm funny. Like, I'm genuinely like awesome. So I welcome it. This person is not gonna be the last person to ever lay eyes on me and fall in love with me. And you gotta live life with that kind of confidence. This man doesn't want to act right for you. Trust me. There are a million other guys out there. Please. I would be so excited if I were you and I just got cheated on. So excited. I'm excited for you. If you just got cheated on, be hyped. Be excited that now you get to find someone that actually cares about you, actually loves you, actually wants to be loyal to you. Whatever. There's so many people out in this world. You're gonna find someone else. Look at you. Look at God. Congratulations on getting cheated on, babe.
Here we have a mix of self-deception and arrogance disguised as confidence, saying, "I don't care if I get cheated on," while also claiming she'd leave instantly proves that she does care. She's just trying to spin it as an emotional victory. Now, the real fact, 56% of men who cheat do it due to a lack of intimacy, not a lack of love. But that part gets ignored because it would mean taking some responsibility in the relationship. It's much easier to say, he did it because he wanted to, than to ask whether she stopped contributing something. But hey, keep believing there will always be a million other options. Let's see if that mindset holds up when the market stops responding.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if somebody fucking cheated on you, they don't love you, they don't care about you, they don't respect you, and they probably don't fucking like you. Because if they felt any of those things towards you, they would have never fucking cheated. Stop making excuses for them. Stop thinking that they're gonna change. Stop thinking that it was your fault. You need to fucking leave. Why do you want to be with somebody that cheated on you? Why do you want to be with somebody that went and hooked up, kissed, talked, flirted, whatever, with somebody else? They don't care about you. I'm sorry, but the only solution is to leave and go find somebody that actually appreciates you. Because if somebody loves you, they are not going to think about anybody else. And all that bullshit of, they say they're going to change, they said that they're going to do better, they said that they're never going to do it again. Okay, but you still cheated on me. Right? You still cheated. So you can go do better for somebody else because you already did it to me. Please love yourself more and value yourself more than staying with somebody who clearly doesn't value you at all.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
By their logic, if someone loves you, they won't think about anyone else, right? So what happens when women fantasize about another man, swoon over actors in romantic shows, or keep friends who are clearly waiting for a chance? Does that also mean they don't love their partner? Because the standard should be the same for both sides. 56% of men who cheat do it due to a lack of intimacy, not a lack of love. But of course, that's not convenient to admit because it would mean acknowledging that women also have responsibility in the relationship. Brothers, responsibility is kryptonite for women.
There's a period of time before you find out for sure that your spouse is having an affair, where you might subconsciously know that your spouse is having an affair. We live with our spouses day in and day out for most of the time, years, and we get to know the subtle nuances of how they move through the world, how they act, and what their patterns are. And we usually intuitively know if something changes and shifts ever so slightly with our spouse. So there's an intuitive knowing that happens before the real knowing, because it's almost as if the winds change in your house, ever so slightly, but you know it, and you know that something's different. You might then find yourself doing things that you never thought you would do and that you're not proud of, like looking through your spouse's phone, snooping, smelling their clothes before you put it in the laundry, checking their jacket pockets for receipts, checking their jackets for hairs that aren't yours. These behaviors are normal, and it's normal to want to look for evidence for why things might feel different when all you have is a feeling.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch!
Bruja, she's crazy. This is anything but normal. Checking pockets, sniffing clothes, snooping through his phone just because the winds changed. This isn't intuition, it's pure paranoia. And the worst part? She justifies it as if it were a logical and healthy part of a relationship. If a man did this, he'd be called controlling, toxic, and jealous. But when a woman does it, it's intuitive knowledge. Here's the problem. Instead of communicating with her partner like an adult, she turns the relationship into a witch hunt that only poisons it. And if by chance the man isn't cheating, he's already been judged and sentenced without evidence. Then they wonder why men feel suffocated in their own homes.
If I was cheated on or found a secret porn use or addiction, here's what I would do as a girl who went through this a year and a half ago, and now I help coach other women who are navigating this. First and foremost, nervous system regulation. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is what helps get rid of the anxiety, the rumination, the constantly replaying the memories and having the flashbacks of the betrayal and obsessively thinking about what happened. This is what helps alleviate that, and I have a guide in my bio to help women go through that. Secondly, decenter men. That doesn't mean you need to hate men. It just means you're going to stop prioritizing your life out of seeking validation for them. And I would start getting really clear on understanding how much the patriarchy has put this in my head and how much I do not need this. I do not need to seek male validation. Third, I would prioritize making strong female friendships with girls, people who will support you and uplift you, and join support groups. So to have your feelings validated, to know you're not alone in this. And I also have one of those as well. Lastly, start expanding your world. Get hobbies, get creative interests, start focusing on nutrition or health, start focusing on career or getting a promotion. Start to find something to expand your world outside of this one man. The more you try to orbit your world around him, the deeper and deeper this betrayal is going to heal. But if you start to expand your world and focus on friendships, focus on career, focus on nutrition, focusing on getting a promotion at work, doing anything else but just focusing on him, that is going to help the betrayal feel less. And you're going to start to find the good in all of this, because you're going to start to create a life that feels better than the one that you had when you were or are with him.
Here we have a feminist creating more single women. This whole speech isn't about healing. It's about turning resentment into a business. You can tell she's more hungry for clients than actually helping people. The best part? The guide in her bio and the support groups that she coincidentally runs. Brothers, these days, everything is a business, even pain. They disguise it as empowerment, but the real goal is to keep women trapped in a cycle of victimhood so they never break free. And of course, what's the solution? Forget about men, bury yourself in work, and buy my guide. There's no real intent to heal, just to keep fueling the bitterness so the money keeps rolling in. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, here are some questions for you. If cheating means not loving, does denying intimacy mean the same? If men don't matter, why can't they stop talking about them? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.